Alright guys, so we're headed into Wailing Caverns dungeon. Not one of my all-time favorites. I'm not really partial to the ones underground. I don't know. I guess just they all kind of look the same to me. But hopefully we got a good group. And we'll be underway. So our tank is a druid, and druids and warriors are my favorite tanks because they can hold aggro easier, and really between those two, druids have a little bit of an edge. They can use the bear form that you see there, and they have all different kinds of abilities and things they can do to keep aggro on themselves and away from the rest of the group, so we can just fight and pluck away at them when we don't have to worry about pulling aggro off of the tank there. So when the tank pulls a new mob like this, if it kind of scatters a little bit like those two did, I try to back off or kind of get off to the side and let them regroup and let the tank get all the aggro on themselves. You don't really have to panic. Like I say, if you've got a good tank, they're gonna pull everything back to themselves and kind of get in the middle with the party around them or behind them. So your damage dealers can kind of do their thing, and your healer can see everybody in the group. You don't ever want to really outrun your tank. In a lot of cases, it's better if the tank is actually also the guide. Yeah, you want them to go first and go headlong into the groups and gather the mobs, so you don't get stuck with a lot of attack power on you that you can't really deal with because you're not a tank, so you don't really have the armor for it. I'll look later to see if I can use those bracers. I never really look through any of the gear that I loot as I'm doing a dungeon. I just keep it all in the bag, and then when I'm done, I sort through and use what I want, put stuff on the auction house, and sell the rest. I think our tank's gotten a little turned around, but anyway, we'll get it all sorted out. I may go ahead and run up here and turn this in, but yeah, we've kind of gotten back to the beginning again. All right, so I'll go catch up with the group again. Hopefully they didn't leave me too far behind. I don't think we have too much more. There's just a few more bosses in the main boss, but yeah, this is turning into a pretty good group. There is, I don't know if you'd call it an ability or a talent, that I always put on priests. Definitely helpful in times like this. Humans are slow. When you're running, they are slow. I've always been the last person in the group to run, but there is I guess a talent or an ability that attaches to your shield here that gives you extra speed for several seconds while it's up, and I definitely recommend it. Whenever, I don't know what level it is, it comes up where you can do that, but I definitely recommend doing that if speed is an issue for you when you're running these groups. That void eruption ability, spell rather, that's a pretty nasty piece of work right there. You can, especially in a group like this, you can time that just right and use it at the right time. and it kind of goes out, and eventually you can get it to where it'll hit everybody if it doesn't do that all the time. But you can send that out and it'll execute, it'll one shot. So even though I'm not a healer, you know, if you're a priest, you know, help your buddies out. You know, if somebody just being res like that or just needs a heal, you know, throw one on them, because even though you may not be in the healer spec, you know, you can keep that little flash heal around, and it's good to use. So it looks like we have about 3 more bosses. There, there, and there. So we are in the second half of this instance, and it's been a pretty good group so far. I think we've only had one person go down. Got a quick res to bring them back, and tank's really good. The healer's really good. I've been lucky so far in these videos. I've been put with some really good groups. So I haven't played the classic version yet. I had actually taken a break from the game for a while and just now really coming back to it. But I kind of wondered how that classic version will be. And, playing it like it was played when it first came out. I'm sure the dungeons are a little different. Like I've said in other videos, I don't think there's been any major changes, but the big thing is on the gear, having to roll for the gear and um, going through all that and trying to get different pieces of equipment. I can remember days where friends of mine, we'd all get together and we would run these dungeons over and over and over until we got the pieces we want. And the frustration that comes with it after you've ran a dungeon seems like 100 times, and the one piece of equipment you've been waiting on, when it actually turns up, someone else gets it, because they rolled higher or they greeted or something like that. So, hey, I guess in a way it was a good change they made. It made the game a lot more efficient for sure. Um, you know, you're only really awarded rewards and gear and loot that is really pertinent to you. As far if you wear cloth, you're going to get a cloth item. If you wear mail or plate, you're going to get a mail or a plate item. So that was always kind of ridiculous. You'd be running a paladin or a warrior, and you'd have this really tough boss, or get really excited over a drop that was fixing to come, and then when it finally showed up, it was cloth. So did you absolutely no good. So yeah, all in all, the change was good, but it would be interesting to to go that route again and see how that would turn out. So one of these little quests I've got is to find these pieces, bundles of, or little plants of serpent bloom, and they are not just everywhere. You know, I've come through this whole dungeon and I just picked up my second one, so I might be able to finish that one and I might not. I may wander around a little bit after we kill the last boss and see if I can find another few pieces, but I'm not gonna seriously delay going and looking for it. I can come back in and finish that quest again later, because I'll definitely run this again. So I believe we have one more boss. See if I can get it. Here we go. Kind of up on the other side, up on the top there. Hopefully we can pick up these last few pieces of serpent bloom I need in the process. I hate how these humans run so slow, but it is what it is. So yeah, for this last part, you kind of have to have this guide. And it's good to come back and turn in those other quests that you finished as well. But this guy is basically going to take us to where the last boss is. He sort of summons the boss, as it were. So one of the things you have to do, you have to keep him alive from point A to point B, and you know, it's not the only time in the game where you'll see something like this. You know, for you newer players out there, this is what they call an escort quest, where you're essentially having to escort something or someone to a certain place. For all you guys that have been playing for a while, I don't mean to insult your intelligence, but I do kind of have these set up as a tutorial and just kind of a first time look for newer players. So I found my last piece of Serpent Bloom without getting too far behind, and I kind of knew where they were going, but here it is. This is where it's gonna happen. Dreamer's Rock. Now what's gonna happen? Several other little monsters are gonna spawn and come up out of the water, and you know we're just gonna have to deal with those accordingly. But the whole time he's gonna be standing there summoning. So like I said, we have to keep him safe and alive and busy, and eventually the final boss will come up. And I believe this is our boss. So there wasn't really as many little smaller monsters to deal with as I thought, but so yeah, not a very long quest. Again, one of the original ones. You know, you hit it just right with the right group, you can get some pretty good gear out of it. I believe I think I picked up a pair of pants or something, but I'll have to go back and look. But yep, so there's the final boss. Let's see what his drop is. Okay, yeah, nothing really I needed. I think may have been some green pieces. And that's it. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Check back with us again. We're just gonna keep going down the list. I might not do another video until we do the Stormwind Stockade. I'll just have to see what other dungeons there are that I need to do. So yeah, just check back again, and we'll have these videos posted a couple of times a week. Obviously, you know, the goal is to level up to where we can do some higher level raids and get into some of the more really exciting stuff. So like, subscribe, share these videos with your friends, and we'll see you next time.